Hey everybody, Sean Sweeney here from S&J Lessons. This evening's show is called Get Recruited. We're going to spend about 35 minutes with a good friend of mine, Mr. Tarek Merchant. Tariq is a recruitment specialist. He started an amazing company called I'm Recruitable. I've been fortunate enough to spend a few uh, years working with him in certain degrees, helping him out with his clinics, running a couple of the performance camps here or training camps here for college bound kids to get introduced to the college style of tennis and to meet and mingle with and get educated with college coaches. And I've also helped him down in Florida with some of his amazing programs down there. Had the opportunity to hang out with him and become friends. Really respect what this man is doing for sports in general. He has a great program, and again, check him out. It's called I'm Recruitable. It's I am Recruitable and .com, and he's got a great platform for athletes, parents, and coaches to take advantage of. Check him out, please, and like his pages and follow him. He gives great tips every morning for athletes in regards to being able to learn what's the best practice around recruitment, what you should be doing, when you should be starting what. Just simply an amazing guy, and I'm looking very much forward to speaking with him this evening. We have about a half hour with Tarek as he has a prior commitment around 8:30 that he has to take care of. So that's Eastern time. So it'll be a fairly quick conversation. But hopefully we can get you some great information around what he's doing, what his company is doing, some best practices around recruitment, what college coaches are looking for, how should you set up your film. We'll try and get a lot of stuff in for you to hopefully take a little tidbit home and start leveraging it for your future, your tennis career. Really looking forward to speaking with Tarek this evening. Before he joins us, I do always like to thank our sponsors. Our two main ones again, Sway Medical. Sway Medical is simply an awesome application for balance and reaction time testing. It could be used as part of a concussion management protocol system in conjunction with other tools. I use it specifically for performance. Love using it with the team. So we take their balance and reaction time test and we see exactly where they're standing today. And they're there to take it every day before practice and then after practice so we can gauge, okay, maybe there's a nutrition issue, maybe there's a hydration issue if the baseline is off, maybe there's a sleep issue, maybe there's a slight injury. So we know exactly what's going on with that athlete at any given moment. Again, and then it's around a conversation. How can we help this athlete get better? What can we do for them? And so, again, we're testing that every single day. So we use it for performance. We can also leverage that tool right at the beginning to identify any weaknesses. So if there's an imbalance on one side or the other when they're doing the balance testing, we can provide that information to the performance coach and they can start working on creating that. I mean, if that's never caught, think about it. You do all this training, you work your butt off, you're working hard, and you have an imbalance. One side's not as balanced as the other, or your reaction time is slightly slower than it should be. These are things that we can catch right away, and a professional can start taking care of it with you. Your performance coaches can start addressing the imbalance. You can start working on reaction time drills. So it's pretty cool. So we use it for performance. I'll put the link in the comment box below for Sway Medical, our sponsor. And again, we truly do appreciate them. I also like to thank CAP Corporation. CAP Corp is another, they are really a concussion prevention tool. It's an amazing test. They call it the RAM test. It's simply awesome. It's worldwide. They're waiting on a worldwide patent. It is simply game changing because it can actually prevent concussion through a simple test and then a training program that helps strengthen the neck to make sure that when things happen, you can actually be strong enough if you're in football to break the foam, have a strong enough neck so that helmet actually becomes an asset, not a liability. So just sheer neck strength training, but specific to the athlete and then specific to the sport. So that's CAP Corporation. They also have a multitude of other products in behind that. If you have any questions around either one of these, I do represent them. So I would love to help answer any questions that you may have. But again, if you want to do some research, I'll put the comments in the box below so that you can take advantage of the information online and see what both these companies are offering. Again, it's a simple two products. Love to share them with you. Take advantage of them. Take a look. And we truly very much thank them for their support in working with us here at S&J Lessons. We truly do appreciate what they do for us and how we've partnered together and worked together. So thank you very much to both of those guys. Tarek will be joining us very, very shortly. Again, we met a few years ago, probably when my son was around 15, and hoping to go to NCAA college down in the States. So I ended up hooking up with Tarek and his partner at the time, and did a show with him. Actually met him at a club here. He was visiting a club, a good friend of his former coach, Tony Roth, who coaches is the head coach over at the OAC here in Ottawa for tennis. Tarek was working. It was his student. Tarek was a student of Tony's when he was a kid, and I was training my son over at the club, and Tony was kind enough to introduce me to Tarek, and we've become good friends ever since. My son went to the webinar and seminar, learned about best practices, just like we're going to try and shrink down and give you some information this evening. And then we did a bunch of college showcases and got exposed to the college level. And at the end, it wasn't what my son ended up doing, which is fine. I mean, he went on and tried to play a few futures tournaments, spent about 6 months traveling around the U.S. playing futures tournaments, and then decided he wanted to come back to school here in Canada. So, I mean, the process was amazing. We enjoyed the process. He enjoyed the process. But again, at the end of the day, it's what's right for you and what's right for your child. So sometimes it's not about going to the States, and sometimes it is. But through the education you'll get with Tarek and his company and what they're doing, you'll be able to determine what is best practices for you, what makes sense for you and your child or children, and what's best. And I love the information he provides. He talks right from the heart. He gives you great information. It's valuable. There's not a thing that he doesn't talk about that you can't put into practice right away. There's no BS with Tarek. I mean, he's just going to tell you how it is, and this is what it should be. And he's going to tell you that there's schools that you're probably not suited for. Maybe your talent level is just not there yet, even though your academic grades may be. Maybe your talent's not, or vice versa, right? Maybe you have the talent, but you don't have the grades. Because believe it or not, as much as the NCAA is making money off you, it's still a student-athlete role. So you're going in, and you must have the marks, and you must meet the standards, and you must clear all the processes that are in place to help you as an organization, or excuse me, as a team, as a group, as an individual, as a player. You got to pass through all those standards. You got to make sure you take them as they come along. So making sure that you have your SAT done, or your ACT, or whatever else that may be required for that particular school. And these are things that Tarek and I'm Recruitable can help you with to make sure that you get all the information that you need to make a great decision for you and your family. So Tarek's just trying to join. There should be, I'm just going to give him here a second. There should be a picture-in-picture guy. And in 2 seconds, I'm just going to let him in and make sure he can get on. And just make sure he can see here. Just making sure he can get in. We have this every night as people, we're all new to Facebook Live, at least I am. Should be able to join now, buddy. Request to get access. So for those of you who are watching, I'm just trying to help Tarek get in right now. If you're listening, Tarek, you should be able to see a little picture-in-picture guy on the screen or something like that where you're going to request to join, and I'll let you in as a guest so that we're sharing and we have a view of you on the call. And then we'll get you in. And looking forward to it. You can cover my little disco light on my Facebook, sorry, on the Facebook Live. Just letting him know we should be streaming already, and you should be able to see it. So Tarek's going to come in and join us here very shortly. We're going to have a great conversation around, again, hopefully, we have about 30 minutes with him. I'll try and watch our time because he does have another commitment at 8:30. And he should be in here very shortly and be able to join us. Great young man, works very hard, has a great company. And again, as I mentioned, he speaks from the heart. He tells it how it is. There's no BS in Tarek. He's going to make sure that you get the best information that you require for you and your child to make the right decision at the right school and to be able to continue the great game that you love, and it's generally tennis that we talk about, at least he and I talk about. But he does, and I believe his company has other sports that they work with. So you can ask him about that if you have any questions. Again, the vast majority of you see this when we post it again. So please, when you see it, like S&J Lessons and like I'm Recruitable pages and take advantage of it. And take a look at our sponsors. Make sure you check them out. They're pretty cool, especially if you're a coach or performance coach, or if you have a training facility. We'd love to talk to you and get involved with you so that you can get our products in. These sponsors have been fantastic to us, help us support our show. So we truly do appreciate them and the contribution they make to us so we can bring these guests to you every single night and hopefully give you great information that you can take a little piece away from every night and work with. I shouldn't say every night, but every couple nights. Last night we had a great show with Tom Moore. Coach Tom Moore joined us, And you can check that one out online now. It was simply awesome. Great guy. Been coaching for years and brought some amazing information and shared some great knowledge as well. And a few nights ago, or maybe last weekend, we had Chris Lewitt. Chris Lewitt joined us, the prodigy maker out of New York. And that was a great conversation. If you want to learn a little bit more about the Spanish way, he was great to talk to. So that show's also online. You can check that out, please. And Tarek should be coming here very shortly. He should be able to join us, hopefully. And we're hoping you find the little guy on the screen. And so I'm just trying to get him in, guys. Hopefully he can find it here. We're on S&J Lessons Live, so he should be able to find the stream as he goes and be able to see us and go from there. And I'll check and see if he joins us. And just trying to watch my phone because he's texting me trying to get in, and it's kind of important that we get him in and be able to have him join the show. And I'll just hold this up here now as my stand fell. And we're just waiting for Tarek to come in. Hopefully you can see us live here shortly. And we can find them. So we're up and live, and he should be able to find our show on S&J Lessons and be able to look for us and hopefully join us here very, very shortly. I'm just telling him it's live right now. He should be able to find us. And hopefully you can see it streaming. Join the streaming event. I'm just going to join the streaming event. And we'll grab him right now, hopefully. And he'll be able to see us come in. If not, we'll just finish it off and we'll try again another night if that's possible. It's all good. Love you for to meet him though, because it's amazing. Even if we get 10 or 20 minutes with him, it'd be fantastic. So it's worth hearing what he has to say, especially if you have a young child or a player that's looking to go to the college ranks. And Tarek will be able to give us some amazing information. And he should be up here very, very shortly. Hopefully he can find the live stream and join us. Just request to join us. And he should be good from here. Again, we're hoping to figure out our Facebook woes and have people be able to see us very quickly once they log in, especially our guests, as we've had problems getting our guests in. And I think he's coming in now. He found the stream. And I'll just let him in the back end. I just have to approve him. And make sure we approve. So the only other issue when you're connecting.
I'm in.
Yay.
I'm here.
Awesome. That's awesome. I just stretched it,
All
buddy. I was like one of those actors. I was actually telling them how we're trying to connect on the phone. The good news is, my friend, is that the boosts all come, or all the views come afterwards, right? When we boost it. So it's pretty cool. You do get the odd person pops in, I guess, out of curiosity, and they pop in, and it's pretty cool, but it's really afterwards. So how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Let me ask you, did you just find the stream and just get, is that all you did?
I did. No, because I was on the event.
Yeah,
so
you have to go to the stream.
Yeah, and then I tried to go to the page, and my internet wasn't working. That was the problem.
There you go. Well, thank you for joining us. So I think I've given, for the people who are going to watch it, I've given them kind of an introduction as to who you are and what you're doing and what your company's representing, and that you're a great guy and there's no BS with you. And it's really, you're going to tell the people what it is and how their child can, get their dream maybe, and or not, you know what I mean? But you're going to give them the best advice possible that you can possibly give. And your company's there to support them on from a web interface perspective. Now, I probably didn't do you the justice that you deserve. So would you mind taking 2 seconds and just kind of giving people an overview of who you are and what you are doing?
Yeah, for sure. So for everyone out there listening, I'm Tarek Merchant, and I'm a former college tennis player that came from Canada, not too far from where Sean's from, in Kingston, Ontario, where I was born and raised. And my family moved to Toronto when I was going into grade 10, so I was about 15 years old. Spent a few years in Toronto and then headed to the States on a tennis scholarship. Like every athlete, I had my own story, my own journey, and that was a challenge at times and fun and lots of rewards that I had as well, achievements that I had, not only in tennis, but I played a lot of sports. I loved sports growing up. Hockey was the first sport I really got into playing.
That's the Canadian.
That's right. So, you know, skating's just natural, right?
Yeah.
To us, it's something that you do as part of the school curriculum, as well as just hanging out with your friends. Yeah. So after I studied in school, I mean, I went from transferring universities to playing Division I and II. I stayed in the States. I found my way into teaching tennis. I worked for the Orlando Magic basketball team. I also did stuff with them, professional teams. And then I decided I wanted to start this recruiting business because my passion was really to help student athletes and mentor them the way I was given mentorship, as well as help them achieve the results I got and better. Yeah. You know, I always want everyone to do better than me because I figured that I had such a great time and I never wanted to leave. Yeah. But if kids can have that experience and even better and probably make the mistakes that I didn't make, then their dreams and future would be, you know, even more secure and better for them and their families. And that's what we do today. We help student athletes. We give them the tools they need. We consult them. We mentor them. And we give them the exposure and the opportunities that they're looking for to get educated and ultimately get recruited. And then at the end, maximize your potential.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that is.
You talked about there a second ago about making some mistakes. Is it fair enough that, can you share some of those mistakes that you made and you're trying to help athletes overcome or not subject them to?
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody makes mistakes, and I think failure is part of life. And if you don't fail, then that's bad, right?
Yeah, you're not living.
You're not living, yeah. And you're not learning from your mistakes, and you're not actually getting the opportunity to succeed. That's what I truly believe. But the mistakes meaning the proper guidance, I should say. Some of the stuff I didn't know was, like, for example, growing up in Canada, like, there wasn't a lot of tennis players in particular that were going to the States at that time. I mean, there was some, certainly, but the doors weren't open for everybody, and everyone was going to the same schools. And those same schools weren't necessarily good opportunities for everybody. They weren't the right fit for everyone. Yeah. So I, was my own individual person, just like everyone else. And I was watching a lot of guys go and come back and not have a good experience. And I think even for me, like, I ended up going where I did, and great things happened at the end. But I wasn't given the right guidance. I wasn't educated enough. There was no tools or opportunities for me to get the exposure I needed. And that ultimately led to some of those mistakes that you kind of wish you could have back, meaning you'd want to go to the right school from the beginning. You'd want to maybe know more about the educational system or how I can stay in the States or what I can do. And those were some of the things that I faced challenges more than anything. Yeah. The mistakes meaning, like, if I had trouble with my coach or my teammates and stuff, those mistakes I think everybody will have. But knowing a little bit more about it would prepare me to handle those situations a lot better.
Very cool. And that's the advice you're able to give the athletes now that you're handling and dealing with.
That's right.
And is a lot of that scalable for you? Is that a lot of that done on your website, or is a lot of hand-holding that you have to do? How have you managed to get that information out to the athletes?
It's a good question. So everybody's got their story, as I said, right? Mm-hmm. So because every athlete's situation is individual, there is some nurturing that needs to be done just, to that one person. Yeah. But we do scale it in the sense that I give a lot of free content now. If people are following me, if they are not, if they do, they will realize that every day I'm trying to put out some videos and some content, and we're continuing to build that up to help educate the masses on these tips and advice and things that are generic to everybody that they can do better. We also launched a couple years ago our recruiting app, which gives you the tools to explore universities and talk to college coaches and get noticed and build the right profile. So with all those things and handling some webinars and some exposure camps and showcases, those are our opportunities to get to everybody so they can come, kind of like a conference or tune in at their own time, similar
Yeah.
to what you're doing right now with your channel.
Yeah.
Is you can watch it live, and most people are too busy to watch things live.
No, they'll watch it on their own time.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so the Netflix situation of the world is what we're living in, and that's what we're doing. And then we also do help individuals who need more nurturing, and I can dig a little bit deeper with them and help them on their specific circumstances.
Perfect. How's it
Yeah.
evolved? So you and I worked together with my son a few years ago,
Yeah.
and how have times evolved? So are there more recruitment showcases? Is there more confusion now than there was back then? What's happening in the recruitment spectrum right now?
Well, it's an awesome
Or field.
question.
Yeah.
That's probably the best question you can ask. I believe that it is way more confusing now than it ever has been.
Okay.
There are more and more mom and pop, I would call them, recruiting agencies,
Okay.
Organizations. There is a lot of noise in the area. People like to think it's cool, and it is kind of cool. Whether you're a parent, an athlete, or someone from the outside, college sports is huge,
Yeah.
right? And in some sports like football and stuff, it's a bigger industry than the NFL.
Yeah.
Because there's more teams.
Yeah.
So there's so much noise right now that there are a lot of events going on that people are trying to host. Some are in business, like ourselves, who have been doing it for a long time and really have a huge foundation and following.
Mm-hmm.
There are others that are trying, and I was one of those that was trying to begin with as well. So
Of
I'm
course.
not knocking anybody,
Yeah.
but there's a lot that come and go, and then there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions and a lot of coaches, as you know, being a coach as well, and academies and stuff that want to do it, but there's not enough effort that's being put in often that's needed to educate the families properly and give them the real advice that's current to 2019.
Yeah.
And knowing the coaches and knowing the teams and knowing the situations is only possible when you really put your hands in the dirt and are doing it every single day. Like, I realized that very quickly. I used to teach tennis myself, like even 2 hours a day in academy, and I was running one with a couple friends. And it wasn't possible for me to do what I do now and know what I know now if I wasn't doing it 24/7 and really built up this network and business. And I'm learning myself every day.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like rules change every day on the NCAA, or situations with coaches. And you got to stay up to date. And I think that people are more confused than ever because of that. And it can be simplified.
Yeah. And it's guys like you that help simplify it.
I try. I try.
There's you, and there's some really good credible ones out there. You're my favorite.
Thanks. You're my favorite as well.
But there are some credible ones, and I think the biggest thing I heard there is, listen, parents, get with a credible source. Check out Tarek, his information will be below, but get with a credible source that can really help you.
Yeah, even if you don't choose to work with someone like myself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here necessarily to just pump up me and my team.
Yeah.
I want people to go to the right places, and to go to the right places, that person or that company needs to be doing it for a living, in my opinion.
Yes.
I think they need to be well connected. I think they need to have a lot of experience and know how to get your son or daughter recruited.
Yeah.
Have a game plan, have steps that you follow, make sure that their team knows how it works. And honestly, most people in this business or even in life, like, they don't have a plan.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a plan, you're going to fail.
Absolutely. And sometimes when you have a plan,
Yeah, and that's okay. But, you have to know how
you
to
can navigate. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, one of the things that I love to do, which is part of the business, is we move with the athlete. If your academics increase, it might open up some more doors to schools.
Yeah.
If they decrease, it changes your situation. Athletics, if it increases, stays the same, decreases, it changes. If your eligibility status, especially if you're an international kid and you've gone through some eligibility issues, maybe taking a year off, whatever, how do you navigate that?
Yeah.
I mean, those are fun challenges for me because I know the right people to talk to, and I also know the business inside out. But those are the things that you're looking for when you're trying to find the right person and people, the right team to work with, and people you can connect with. Like, my body chemistry is not going to always be the same with every person, and vice versa. So we may choose not to work with somebody, and they may choose not to work with us, and that's perfectly fine. I've got a certain style and a certain type of energy that maybe some people don't want to work with. That's okay. So you find the person that's right for you.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is the biggest challenge currently that the athletes are focused or seeing or not seeing? What's the number one challenge? You know, I think I'll give you a hint to maybe to the answer. But when we were working together, I think it was that no one started early enough.
Okay, perfect. So I would agree with that, and I would add another piece to that. So I would say that you don't start early enough to get educated and understand and also have the chance to get the opportunities, but you're also not realizing what schools are options for you and being okay with that and really focusing on those. People are fixated. I made a video this morning, actually. I think you watched it. Yeah, I saw that you watched it because that came to mind knowing that we're doing our thing today.
Yeah.
And I made that video saying, look, you know, you got to find the right fit for you and your dream schools, which are pretty much everybody's dream schools. You know, you can count on your fingertips the schools that everybody wants to go to, especially specific to a certain sport, because those schools are top. But if you don't make it there, where are the other 99.9% of schools, and what do they do, and how good can they be for you?
Yeah.
And you can only discover that with your point, starting early, and really getting to know what your level is, what type of coaches are interested in you from what types of schools, and getting educated and doing all the things you need to do, giving yourself a chance.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself the best chance to get recruited so that it doesn't come down to senior year and some coaches telling you that, oh, in order to get to my school and get the scholarship you want, which for a lot of sports includes academics and athletics.
Correct.
So I'm going to give you an academic example and say, oh, you need a 1200 on the SAT. You got an 1160 or 1180. You're only 20 points away. And all of a sudden you got your practice, tournaments, social life, family, school, and you have to study for this extra 20 points that you might have one shot for. Why would you wait till the end to do that?
Yeah.
You know, often the coach can tell you that much earlier.
Yeah. Or you can look it up.
You can look it up. You can figure it out. You have so many options when you have time.
Yeah. Talk to you. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
time is critical. And I watched another show of yours that I found very interesting. You talked about UTR and you didn't say really you don't care about UTR, but it's not the only thing. Can you just give everybody kind of your thoughts on the UTR and rankings and, you know, kind of, you know what I'm asking? You know what I mean? Like what's you did a great show on it. So I just wanted you to share some of that information. Sure.
Yeah. So everybody's too fixated on UTR.
Okay.
Way too fixated on UTR. Parents especially. It is not the end all be all. It is just like any other ranking and rating, but better.
Yeah.
Because in a sport like tennis, for example, and golf, these sports are international sports, even soccer.
Yeah.
So when you take an international sport, it's really hard for coaches to evaluate your level, especially when you're in a smaller sport when the budgets aren't so high.
Yeah.
So they cannot fly to Slovakia and China and India and Thailand, all over the world to watch the one player.
Yeah.
They need to rely on some more evidence.
Some data point.
Some data points. Now people are going to say, well, if that's the data point they're relying on, then my UTR has to be great, and that's why I'm fixated on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, take a step back here. Yes, it does mean something. But you will realize that your UTR, 99.9% of the time, is actually pretty accurate to where your level is within half a point.
Yeah.
Okay? And coaches know that. Now, if your UTR for some reason is way off, there's other ways to get a coach's attention and for them to realize that you're a certain level.
Yeah.
It is a number. It is not to tell you where you are going to go. It is not to tell you exactly what coaches are going to recruit. There was a video I made, like you said, that also included like the intangibles, the X factors, the things like, okay, let's say you look at the top 6, like your UTR fit. I fit in the UTR fit. Okay, great. But what happens if the coach isn't recruiting anybody for that year? There's no graduating people.
Yeah.
What if they're recruiting a walk-on and you need a scholarship? What if you want to play you need a big scholarship, but they're recruiting a number 1 for that big scholarship and you don't have that level?
You're not there.
What happens there? What if the school you fit in the top 6 and they don't have the major you want to study? what if you can't get in academically? There are so many factors outside of there that need to be looked at as well. So nobody's saying don't look at UTR. No one's saying don't follow it, because it is giving you the rating that you should be at. And it is looking at your current history. And, you know, no one's going to deny that Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic are the best players in the world.
Yeah.
They're 1, 2, and 3 right now,
Yeah.
right? And it's because of their results. They're winning tournaments. They're
They're
getting
winning.
deep in the draws.
Yeah.
It's what it is. And so people think, you know, in junior tennis, it's a little unfair. And I think in some way they're right. Yes, there's so many different leagues. It's hard to judge. But you've got to realize that your ratings, and if you haven't had a fair shot, go find where you're going to get the fair shot. For example, attend a showcase, go to an exposure camp, send out videos, be in a tournament where coaches may be to see you, and play players that coaches are recruiting right now, and show that you can compete or beat those players. And if you can, send that to the coach and say, I just played this person at this tournament, and I know that you're recruiting them, or these schools are looking at them. Can you please look at me? My rating's not that high because of this, this, this.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's my sort of beef with UTR, is that.
Yeah, I don't think it's their fault. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I think, like, obviously everyone's promoting their services and products the way they want. Everybody's going to say, you know, they have a great product, and they do.
Yeah.
I believe they do. I use them myself for our event.
Yeah.
But I just think that it's too much of the emphasis when things are not going your way, and becomes excuses, or it becomes like you're trying to work the system.
Yeah.
You can't do that these days because there's too much data, there's too much statistics, and coaches are smart enough. And now look, there are a handful of coaches out there, I'm going to be completely honest, that go straight off of UTR.
Yeah.
But like I said, then prove it to them. And if not, those are the schools you just can't deal with. It is what it is. The market's the market, and the people are the people, and you can't win every argument.
No, you can't. And I love, you know, I know you hold, you still hold showcases, right?
Yep.
And so I love the fact you said, you know, get to a showcase. If and I'm going to give you a quick example for your audience, because how powerful your showcases are. We did 2 or 3 with my son, right?
Yep.
And what was beautiful is that, you know, you get a core group of coaches that come to the showcase, and then you have your supporting cast that show up throughout the event. But that core group, I mean, we were here in Ottawa, and Jordan still hadn't signed anywhere or done anything. And the coach from Penn State was on the phone calling schools all over the U.S. saying, you should take a look at this kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. But that was because they were attending your event and getting exposure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, I agree.
Kudos to your events, because I think those are the most, to me, that was the most, you know, there's your superstar kids who are being recruited by those schools that we talked about at the beginning. But then there's the vast majority. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
love, who need it? Who need it? Who need the exposure?
And I loved what you said. There's a school for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree 100%. And I appreciate that you guys had a good time. And I mean, I think that when people actually show up to these events, as long as the company that's running them is doing a good job and in it for the players and the parents, then yeah, you're getting educated, you're getting the exposure like crazy. Coaches are willing to help out. Yeah. And that's the good thing. Like when you're running them, like, you know, we'll be running, I think, our 7th year of showcases this year in Boca, especially the first one that you came to.
Yeah.
I mean, after doing it for so many years, coaches come, like you said, every year. There's a trust that's built, and they're willing to help. They're willing to help. They're willing to help me, help the players. Yeah. And that's really important, because if they can't take you on their team, they'll vouch for you because they had a chance to see you, and they know how tough it is sometimes for coaches to get out and see individual players. Yeah. And any recommendation is well taken.
It's pretty cool, huh?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love those. I love seeing those stories, like you said, like the success stories, and where people sort of started here and then they end up over there. It's awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I know you have to go at 8:30, so I just wanted to ask one more question. I've asked you this before when we did a podcast, and the question is very simple and very easy, but I think it's also very telling. If we could put a billboard anywhere in the world, okay, and you can expose it to 1 million people or even 1 billion people, what would your message be to them?
Yeah, I think I said this on the last one, right?
Yeah.
And pardon my French to those people, but it's get shit done.
That's a very simple message.
And it's not abbreviation. It's a play on the Nike. Just do it. Yeah. Because it's just get shit done. I mean, I always talk to my team, and we had a discussion a couple days ago, and I said, you know, it's all about problem solving. You know, like when something doesn't go your way, or you need to get something done and there's an obstacle, or, you know, I couldn't go to practice because it was raining. I mean, it's not about, it's about pivoting. It's about finding the solution to your problem and getting it done. And nobody pays you for the hours you put in to the game or to the job. They pay you for getting the job done.
The results.
The results. And that's what people care about at the end of the day. So you can talk about how many hours you train on the tennis court, or how many hours, you know, how much weight you lift in the weight room, and, you know, what you bench and all that stuff. And nobody gives a crap at the end unless you get shit done and you put up the results. So that would be my billboard, and that's the way I live my life, and that's the way I help athletes and their parents get through this. And I know that everybody needs a push. I mean, I was their age one time, you were their age, you had your son recently go through that. Is you need that support, you need that help, and somebody who's in your corner, who's giving you the confidence and showing you how to get shit done. It can really, really help you. And in the end, everything will be okay.
Exactly, as long as you get shit done.
That's right.
Hey, listen, I know you got to go, but I want people to be able to find you. So where can they reach you? What your Twitter handle, Facebook, where can they reach you?
Yeah, Tarek Merchant, TarekMerchant 17. And fun fact, 17's there because that was my hockey jersey. That was my first hockey jersey.
There you go.
Why? You're going to love this. Wendell Clark.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't know how much I love that one. You know, I like Wendell.
You and my dad. Yeah. But you know what? Growing up for me, Wendell Clark. That's right. Yeah. That's right. So for me, Wendell Clark was my idol because
I like
captain of the team. He was a hard-nosed player. Yeah. He had skill, and he could really score some goals, and also, you know, impact the team, and also motivate the crap out of them. And the Leafs were good.
No, he did. He did a great job. Was Paul Matier the goalie back then?
Oh my God, there's Potvin and there's
Potvin. That was it.
Potvin was the most popular one at that time. So Tarek Merchant 17, and then I'm Recruitables, the company. You can follow both of us. I do daily content on Tarek Merchant 17 about my life and basically in the recruiting world. And then you can definitely check out our success online as well in our event.
And we'll make sure you're welcome. Listen, thank you. We're going to make sure all your information is in the comment box. I'll get a copy of the video to you by tomorrow, so you have it for this piece here. But listen, we really thank you for your time that you're joining us. I'm glad you got on, and hopefully we can do this again, my friend.
I'm glad I could do it. Thanks, Sean. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, and this was a great show. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, buddy. Be good.
All right.
Bye now.
Yeah. Bye.